Graduating school, I was like, what am I going to do? I don't want to just paint and make art. So I decided to like combine the art and the clothes together. And that's when I applied for fashion schools, but I didn't get into any of the ones I wanted because I had no like fashion background. So I ended up just going to a random school, learning how to do fashion. And then I applied like randomly to FIT. Like I didn't even know they had an MFA program. And I just applied to them and was like, hey, like I'm looking to do an MFA. And Kyle happened to be there like that week. And he's like, yeah, we're actually looking to start up an MFA right now. Like it's not even like a real program yet, but if you want to apply, like you can be the first person to apply. So I was the first person to apply for the MFA at FIT, and it was all right. But like, I pretty much, then after I got in there, that's when I started really doing my thing and exploring. Because I feel like in my undergraduate, it was more about just like learning how to sew, learning techniques, learning everything I could. So that way when I like actually wanted to have an idea, I could actually execute it. I feel like it's so hard in fashion unless like, I noticed for like a lot of my friends from China and a lot of my friends from Asia in my MFA, like it was easier for them to contact factories and things like that. Just being like in like, someone from Guangzhou could contact a factory really easily. Whereas in America, it's not that easy and it's very expensive. I know. So it's like for me to make my stuff, I had to do it all myself. So it's like I felt very restricted when I felt very restricted before I knew how to before the MFA, I had to learn all the basics so that way when I had an idea, I could be like, all right, I know how to make this, I just practiced and practiced sewing and making and pattern making for like 4 years. And then after that, I started making like my actually things that I wanted, so it took time. Like that's pretty much what I was trying to say to Bentley, I applied to all these schools. I didn't get in. I really had to spend a lot of time learning, but I guess if you can, you don't always have to do it that way. Like I said, like you could figure out how to work with factories and have them make your stuff. And if that's a whole process too of learning, like you need to learn how to communicate, you need to learn how to send them tech packs and samples, and the more information, the better,
Right. So, wait, let me.
Just talking so fast.
No. I'm gonna ask my student. 早すぎて聞こえん？めっちゃブルーって感じですね。
Yeah, I can go back and talk a little slower. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm gonna just, I'm gonna translate to them in Japanese, and
yeah.
just like support you understand. トランスレートする？それともこのままチャレンジする？私チャレンジしたい。でもいいですよ。ちょっと入れる？
はい、すみません。
OK。でも、とりあえず、俺のやつに頼らんとって聞こうとしてよ。とりあえず、めちゃめちゃ早い。これはリスニングレベルで言ったらもうマックスって感じだけど、とりあえず彼自体は、学校いろんなところ、ファッションスクール行きたいところには入れんかって、で、なんか結構ランダムな学校に行って、そこで、自分の作る、なんか服を縫えるようになっておこうと思って、4年間使ってずっとひたすらパターン引いたりとか、縫い物とかして、準備をして、で、FIT の MFA のそのダイレクターに会って、たまたま。で、そこでちょうど今から作ろうとしてるからアプライしたらどうかみたいな話になって。Question, where actually did you meet Kyle?
All right, so like I said, when I was so I went to a school in Chicago actually.
Really?
I went to undergraduate in Chicago, and I was working on my thesis collection, and I pretty much went out to New York to buy fabrics for my collection. I stopped by FIT, and I was like, I just asked questions. I didn't even know if they had a program.
I see.
And I emailed the school like a week before, and they sent me Kyle's email and said, hey, this is the person who's running the MFA if it happens. Like, it might not happen, it might happen. We don't know yet. So I ended up just I set up a meeting with him, and I just met him. Like, that's it. Like, I just went to New York, and I just was hustling, Like, that's how you got to do it in New York. Like, you just got to take risks. I had no clue who he was or what I was getting myself into, but I was like, I need a reason to come to New York City because in Chicago there wasn't many connections in art and fashion. It was very business city, so it was like I needed to get out of there and get to New York where the action is.
So actually,
that's why people go to Tokyo, that's why people go to Paris and New York, that's where the fashion is and the art.
Right. So are you originally from Chicago?
I'm originally from New York, but not New York City. I'm upstate by where Niagara Falls is. And that's another reason why my fashion background was so little. There's not much it's not like a big city up here, and it's still a city, but there's like no art, no fashion. It's very like, boring. And there's literally no fabric stores in Buffalo, New York, where I'm from. And there's like a Joanne Fabrics, but you know how shitty that is. Come on.
Oh my God,
we're not trying to make Snuggies and weird shit like that. And
I see. Wait, let me just translate. 彼、ニューヨークのバファローっていうすごい上のところの出身なんだけど、そこから。
by Niagara Falls.
ナイアガラの滝の近くの方が実家で、そこから、シカゴの学校に行ってファッション学んだんだけど、だからそのニューヨークってさ、学校が限られちゅうきさ、結構入れる。で、そこに受けたけど、どこにも入れんかってシカゴに行った感じやろ。シカゴのファッション学校行って、そこで学んで、で、そこからたまたまニューヨークに戻ってきた時に、なんかちょっとランダムに FIT にちょろって行ってみたら、ちょうど MFA が始まるよってことで、帰るとあって始まったみたいな。So, did you actually apply, or you just like go in by the conversation? Like,
and then he told me, when I went to meet him the first time, I took like a couple things. Like I had a book that I had made with all my work that I carried with me, and some like maybe like one or two garments that I had jammed in my backpack. And he pretty much told me like my work was shit. And he was like, I could tell like he had a lot of interest, but how Kyle is the kind that like he never wants to admit someone's work is good. Mm-hmm. He doesn't want to admit someone's work is good. He doesn't want to like give you that like extra like good job. So he's just like, you could tell he had interest, but he was like, oh, this is so undergraduate fashion, like with sketches and just very traditional fashion. So he was just ripping me apart, and I was like, all right. And he was like, you need to make a whole new portfolio and have like this is where my whole thing started, where he was like, you need to have a purpose, because I was just designing for like whatever I wanted. Like I kind of just make, like I don't really ever have crazy concepts. I never really have like crazy purpose. It just kind of happens, and I'm inspired by every day. But he was telling me like, go make a portfolio that has purpose. And he was showing me like an example of one of his students who was like a mathematician. Mm-hmm. And they use math to make fashion, and he's like, you got to have some type of special purpose to try to change the world with fashion, because he's like, we don't need another like fashion designer just making pretty stuff. So you want to translate that?
いや、そのカイルってさっきから出てきたの、カイルがダイレクターの人なんだけど、その人に会って、なんかそのポートフォリオをたまたま見せて、作っちゃう服を見せたときに、なんかとりあえず、なんか全然ダメって言われて、ボロクソ言われて、なんか作りたいから作りよったんだけど、彼自体はもともとね。だけど、そのなんか MFA に入るには、そのなんかファッションポートフォリオを作るには、その目的が必要、何のために作るか、で、どういうふうにして世界を変えていくかってことを考えないかみたいなフィードバックを受けた。Great.That's interesting.
All right, and then I went and I was working so hard on this portfolio, and he kept telling me like, no, there's no purpose. You need to make a purpose. So I like made up some bullshit and said that I was gonna design some rooms, like design like these interior decoration rooms, and because like I had already been kind of doing this on my own, like I had been like styling my own apartment and like, kind of like making like lifestyle brand things. I do paintings, I make some weird furniture. I kind of like dabble in every medium. So I was like, all right, I'll make these rooms and they'll inspire the collection. And then I said in the future, if I ever have like the opportunity, I can make these rooms in real life and then present the collections in the room. And it'd kind of be like this experiential place.
Oh, I see.
Creating like this like experiential fashion, and I'll show you in these pictures later when I show you. I have like, I could screen share now if you want me to.
Yeah, let me just translate and then let's go to your screen. それでFIT のさ大学院ってそのなんかその出だしのポートフォリオにこの
It was mostly experience, like all about an experiential, like clothes in the fashion experience.
That sounds cool.
Or clothes in the room, or clothes and like interior design.
Oh, nice. で、なんかその、FIT ってその受験するときに、このプログラムに来たら何をするのかって言わないかがね、どういうことを目的に来るのか。で、彼が、悩みに悩んだ末に始めたのが、そのインテリアデコレーションを自分のそのなんかペインティングとか家具作ったりとか、そういうのが自分のコレクションのインスピレーションになってって、コレクションを発達させるみたいなアイディアになって、 ポートフォリオ見たら分かると思うけど、すごいなんかカラフルなアートペインティングが服になったりとか、なんかそういう、エクスペリエンスベースの、プロジェクトをやるって決めて、ポートフォリオを作ったっていうのが出だし。で、まあ、こうなるわけよ。Yeah, let's go to screen share. Oh wait, I think I should.
Cool. Let me see. Screen share.
Screen share.
Okay. How do I do this?
So like on the bottom,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
there's a button saying screen share screen. Na-chan, 大丈夫そう。
Can you see it working?
No yet.
Wait. It is working, right?
No. Oh yeah, it's now. Now it's working. Now it's working.
We on.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me figure out how to. I'm just gonna do there. Well, is this look all right for now? One sec. Because actually, if I do full screen mode, I probably won't be able to see you. But
I mean, it
doesn't matter. All right, let me do this. Hold up. Perfect. Now is it full screen? Perfect. So this is pretty much just like the book that I made for the end of my portfolio. This is my whole journey through the beginning to the end.
Oh, nice.
So, just opening the book up, a little bit, pretty much what I already told you. Like as a graffiti artist, I kind of like painting on clothes and destroying things. What's up?
Wait. I think like your screen, moving.
You can't see?
We are seeing your name, Lenny Vuitton.
You can't see any pictures.
No,
No.
yet.
One sec. What about now?
Seeing,
Yeah.
yes.
All right, I'm just gonna leave it how it is. Wait, it's the same or it's different?
What do you mean?
It's now like Louis Vuitton print with
Yeah.
like
Okay.
The
flowers.
flower.
All right, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so pretty much, I just as like graffiti artist, I like destroying things and kind of taking things that aren't mine and then reclaiming them. That's like how I got the Lenny Vuitton name. I kind of just took something that people like to look at as very luxurious, and I just made it my own. And then the things that I make associated with it, like, have nothing to do with Louis Vuitton, unless it's like sometimes when I'm painting on their bags. But for the most part, like my clothes that I cut and sew look nothing like theirs. You want to translate?
いやいやいや、これがまあ出だしのこれから説明してくれるのは彼の一番最初の冒険から最後までやってくれる。これがまあ最初のやつで、彼自体はそのなんかまあビトンのマークとかあるじゃん。なんかすごい高級品でみんなが欲しがるものみたいなものをどういう風にして自分なりのオリジナリティとしてなんかこう壊して組み替えてっていうのをやるかっていうのがまあ出だしのポイント。Great.
I would say it's kind of like spray painting on a train and then sending it off into the world. Not everyone's going to like it. Some people will like it. It's very like niche market.
はい。で、さ、ビトンもそう長いけどさ、なんか、高級って思う人もおれば、なんかさ、ちょっとなんか、もう見慣れたよ、なんかおばさん臭いっていう人もおるじゃん。なんかそういう風にして、なんか、その物の価値も変わるし、なんかその現実からエスケープするっていうのも、彼の、なんかその、目的の一つ。
And especially during today, like you go on Instagram and that's all you see is these designers pretty much taking Louis Vuitton print, Gucci print, and remaking it into like streetwear stuff and pretty much making counterfeit, because that's like the cool stuff, taking the iconography and just totally like bashing it,
Right.
All right, so these are all right, you can translate what I just said.
そのビトンとかさ、なんかグッチとかもそうなんだけどさ、最近はもうそのプリントをさ、とりあえず載せるだけ載せてさ、ストリートウェアにしていくじゃん。で、なんかそういうインスタグラムのなんかそういう現代の流れみたいなのもそのイメージの一つに入っちゃって、まあ彼はビトンのマークとかを駆使しながらめちゃめちゃゴリゴリのストリートウェアを作るんだけど、まあそれは後で出てくる。Great.
So pretty much, this is like the start of this picture right here. Like when I joined the MFA, it was like a lot of experimenting, and the teachers wanted us to like not make clothes. They wanted us to just like I guess just work with our brain and kind of like play around. So this was like the first example of those experiential rooms that I created, but this was like a miniature ones that I could work with, cheaper, easier to work with, more like customizable. So this little box Yes.
This is like when you are first year.
Yes.
Okay. Is it like first project?
This was like, yeah, first major project after, yeah.